Am I the a-hole for telling my brother the reason his kid is bullied and unpopular is due to him? My brother is the type of person who decides to be their true self without anyone's opinions. He expresses this a ton with clothes. He will wear outrageous stuff often and his job is online, so he wears his clothes often. Think Lady Gaga type of clothes. One day he is in a dress and the next he is wearing skin suit. This wasn't a problem until recently, when he started to drop off his son for carpool. My daughter goes to the same school and I used to drive both of them. Ever since he started to do this, he just embarrassed his kid. My daughter refuses to carpool with him and wakes up early for the bus. Now what I got from my daughter is he is known as the kid with a weird dad and bullied for it. She also informed me that she will not be helping him since she doesn't want it coming onto her since it's her uncle. I'm a little disappointed she won't stand up to them, but I also don't blame her for not wanting to get involved. It was bad today and my brother called me ranting that my daughter should stand up for him. I told him the reason his kid is bullied is due to him and he needs to send him on the bus or stop embarrassing him. He's pissed I blame him and being against his artist freedom. He thinks I am a huge jerk. Am I the a-hole for making it clear my son doesn't owe her daughter anything? I admit my kid can be a jerk at times, but I truly believe all middle schoolers can be. Earlier this year he got in trouble for calling a girl, Sam, a suck-up. According to the school, Sam, and my son, this went on for about 2 weeks and he got in major trouble for it. He got in trouble at school for a week with after-school detention and he got grounded at home in a long conversation. I also thrown out that if she wanted I would be fine with him moving classes. So he moved classes and they don't interact at all. You would think problem solved, but no. I kept getting messages from the mother. My son has class 8 hours in another room and the school has told me both kids are not interacting. I have confirmed this with both teachers, they aren't even in the same lunch period. It's his birthday this weekend and I sent out invites to his friends. I got a call this morning about why her daughter wasn't invited. That she is unsure now and should be invited. That I need to make this right. I had enough and told her my son doesn't owe her kid anything and if she can't handle 2 weeks of being called a suck-up then she needs therapy. She called me a jerk and I need an outside opinion. I know my son messed up, but seriously they haven't interacted in a few months since this happened at the beginning of the year. Am I the a-hole for accusing my cousins of taking their grief out on me and telling them naming my kids is nothing to do with them? I, 31 am the only surviving member of my family. When I was 5 I lost my mom and my 4 older siblings in an accident. I was then raised by my maternal grandparents. After the initial accident my family were told none of us had survived and so I was a surprise when the news reached them. My grandparents, aunts and uncles were all thrilled. But my cousins? They were much closer to my siblings. They were similar ages to them. I was 6 years younger than my youngest sister and 8 years younger than my youngest cousin. I wasn't really in with my cousins. With my siblings? We were a tight unit. And they would often reject our cousins when they weren't interested in a baby tagging along. So I think when I was the one who came home, not one of my siblings, I think my cousins hated me for it. We never got close. It was always weird. But then a few weeks ago we were at my grandparents' house for a celebration. It was my husband and me with our 4 kids. My cousins were all huddled together for a while and then started dropping comments to me about the choice to give my kids their own names and not honor my mom or siblings with their names. They asked me how I could claim to love and miss my family when I didn't think to honor them. Or how I could act like they meant the world to me when I don't want my kids to know about them via their names, because they know about them. I did my best to avoid them the rest of the celebration. Then a couple of weeks after that we were all together again for my aunt's retirement party. The comments continued there and they told me they would have named their kids after my mom or siblings, but their parents had suggested it should be reserved for me and left alone if I didn't because maybe it would be too painful. They told me I hogged my family just like I hogged my siblings back then. And I didn't even love them as much as they did. I became so frustrated that when we were all alone in a room together, because I follow them, I told them they should not be taking their grief out on me. I told them I never tried stopping them from using the names of my mom and siblings for their kids. They never said anything about wanting that to me until they decided to make all those bitter comments. I told them I was sorry they were grieving, but I could not take responsibility for coming back and not my siblings. And that naming my kids has nothing to do with them, so drop the comments about it showing a lack of love. I told them I was not going to be their emotional punching bag and did not deserve their grief being taken out on me. Ever since then they have responded with a lot more anger, saying I have no right to accuse them of that and they have every right to make an observation on my kids' names. It has become so tiring and I'm questioning if I was wrong to say all that I did. Am I the a-hole for pretending to not understand Japanese and making a kid cry? For context, I 20F am an English teacher in Japan. I love my job and I absolutely love teaching kids. I've never made a kid cry until today. I have a student, let's call him Sam, who's 12. He's the class clown who absolutely loves attention and will do anything to get his classmates to notice him. Now, I have experience with plenty of goofy kids and I adore them. I let them joke around all the time unless they disturb other students the way Sam does. Sam is super disruptive and makes other students uncomfortable to say the least. I tried telling my boss and co-workers about this, but they basically told me I'm on my own. Not even a call to his parents was made. Recently, I rearranged the seating so that Sam sat far away from the other boys, as he does not do the same to the girls. This worked for a couple of weeks. He spent most of the class complaining in a mumbled voice, but he didn't touch anyone. But I guess he got bored of complaining, because today, he spent most of class hurling insults at me in Japanese. The class is mostly second English learning Japanese kids, and since I'm hired as a foreign teacher, I am strictly forbidden from speaking to the kids in Japanese. Anyways, when Sam starts calling me disgusting, a stupid old lady, etc., I admit I got a little upset, because I know for a fact he would not speak the same way to the Japanese staff, and I knew telling him to stop would only make him want to do it more, because I have tried multiple times in the past. So instead, in a loud voice I said, "What did you say? Chimoi disgusting? What does that mean? Cute? You think I'm cute? Thank you." The other kids laughed a little and Sam got angry, but he kept trying to insult me throughout the class. I kept doing the same thing, pretending to think his insults were compliments. In the end, he got so frustrated he burst into tears. At the end of class, my coworkers saw that he was crying and I explained what happened. I got chastised for making a student cry. Am I the a-hole for calling out father-in-law for caring about pronouns? So on Thanksgiving we were at my wife's parents'. It was me, her, our two kids, my wife's brother, his wife, their kid, and my in-laws, along with mother-in-law's two siblings. It's annoying for me to go over there because they parrot whatever Fox News is saying that season. And this year, pronouns got brought up. My Bill and Phil started complaining that it's so annoying people care so much. So I chimed in that the only people I ever vocally see complain about pronouns are Republicans, like they're doing now. They said they don't care about pronouns, right after complaining about pronouns. So I just okay. Good to know. My Phil was a real jackass about it, like he is most things. My Bill was trying to keep the peace, which I can appreciate. I made the decision then and there to call my Phil she and her, since he so adamantly said he didn't care about pronouns. When my Mill asked who wanted what dessert, I grabbed the order from people in the dining area. When I got to the kitchen I said Jim said she'll have chocolate pie. My Mill looked confused but didn't say anything. I'm pretty sure my Phil heard this but didn't say anything. Like an hour later my Phil said something a little out of character, so I said, "Wow, did you ever think you'd hear her say that?" to my brother-in-law. Well, this really tripped my Phil off. He got upset and said he didn't know what I was trying to pull, but I'm not funny. I just said, "My bad, I thought you didn't care about pronouns. Would you prefer I called you him?" He never answered me and just got upset. To the point where he even threatened to take out his penis to show me he was a man. My Mill had to calm him down.